How different would your life become if nobody could disturb your happiness anymore? Not their words, not their rejection, not their bad attitude, not even their decision to leave. There is a level of peace where people may still hurt you, but they can no longer control you. And these 5 lessons can help you reach it. 1. Stop giving people the power to decide your happiness. One of the most dangerous habits is allowing other people's behavior to determine whether you have a good day or a bad one. Someone ignores your message and suddenly you feel unimportant. Someone criticizes you and you begin doubting yourself. Someone changes their attitude toward you and you spend hours wondering what you did wrong. Without realizing it, you have placed the key to your happiness in someone else's hands. But people are unpredictable. Their feelings change, their priorities change, and sometimes they will disappoint you even when you have treated them with kindness. Your peace cannot be built on something this unstable. You have to reach a point where you can say, people may change, but I will not allow their behavior to change who I am. Your worth does not increase when someone praises you, and it does not decrease when someone rejects you. Allah knows your heart, your intentions, your struggles, and the good you do when nobody is watching. When that becomes enough for you, people slowly lose the power to control your emotions. You stop begging for approval, chasing explanations, and allowing every negative opinion to enter your heart. You begin protecting your peace because you finally understand that your happiness is too valuable to place in the hands of people who can change at any moment. 2. Stop taking every word personally. You will never find peace if every comment, criticism, rude tone, or careless word has the power to disturb your heart. Sometimes people speak from their own frustration, insecurity, anger, or pain, and what they say may have more to do with what is happening inside them than with who you truly are. Yet, when you take everything personally, you begin carrying words that were never meant to define you. One negative comment can stay in your mind for hours while you forget all the good Allah has placed in your life. Learn to separate someone's opinion from your identity. Just because someone misunderstands you does not mean you must explain yourself endlessly. Just because someone speaks badly about you does not make their words true. Allah knows your intentions, your private struggles, your efforts, and the parts of your story other people cannot see. That knowledge should give your heart strength. Instead of reacting immediately, ask yourself, does this deserve my peace? Sometimes the strongest response is silence, patience, and continuing your life without allowing another person's words to live rent-free in your mind. When you stop taking everything personally, you become emotionally stronger because your peace is no longer controlled by every voice around you. 3. Do not expect everyone to treat you the way you treat them. A great deal of disappointment begins with one quiet expectation. Because I would do this for them, they should do the same for me. You remember people when they are struggling, so you expect them to remember you. You stay loyal, so you expect loyalty. You forgive quickly, speak kindly, and make sacrifices, so when others fail to return that same energy, it hurts deeply. But one of the most important lessons in life is understanding that everyone does not have your heart, your character, or your way of treating people. If you constantly expect yourself from others, you will repeatedly feel disappointed. Continue being kind, but do not make your happiness dependent on receiving the same kindness back. Do good because Allah loves goodness, not because you are secretly waiting for people to repay you. Sometimes the person you supported will not support you. The person you defended may misunderstand you. The person you were always available for may disappear when you need them most. Let these moments teach you wisdom instead of bitterness. Your kindness is never wasted when it is done sincerely for Allah. People may forget what you did, but Allah does not. So keep your good character while lowering unhealthy expectations. Appreciate those who treat you well, but do not collapse when someone fails to do so. The less you demand from people emotionally, the less power their disappointment will have over your heart. That is how you remain kind without becoming dependent, generous without becoming exhausted, and peaceful even when others cannot give you what you once gave them. 4. Protect your peace without becoming bitter. There comes a point in life when protecting your peace becomes more important than proving your point. You begin to understand that not every argument deserves your energy, not every misunderstanding requires an explanation, and not every person should continue having unlimited access to you. But there is an important balance you must learn. Protecting your peace does not mean becoming cold, hateful, or bitter. It means learning how to create healthy distance without allowing resentment to poison your heart. Sometimes people will hurt you deeply. They may betray your trust, speak badly about you, disrespect you, disappoint you, or repeatedly cross boundaries you thought they understood. Your first reaction may be anger. You may want them to feel the same pain they caused you. You may replay what happened again and again, imagining what you should have said or what you wish you could do in return. But when you continue feeding that anger, the person who hurt you keeps occupying space inside your heart long after the situation has ended. That is why peace requires more than simply walking away. You can physically leave someone and still carry them emotionally everywhere you go. You can block their number and still have arguments with them inside your mind every night. You can stop speaking to them while continuing to carry resentment for years. That is not freedom. Real freedom begins when you decide that what happened will not control the person you become. You do not have to hate someone in order to distance yourself from them. You do not need revenge in order to move forward. You do not need everyone to understand why you stepped away. Sometimes the healthiest decision is simply to recognize that a relationship is damaging your peace and quietly create boundaries. Forgiveness also does not mean giving everyone the same access to your life again. You can forgive someone and still decide that they are no longer safe for your heart. You can make dua for them and still keep your distance. You can wish them goodness without returning to the same unhealthy situation. Islam teaches mercy, but mercy does not require you to repeatedly place yourself in situations where your dignity and emotional well-being are constantly being damaged. Think about how much energy is wasted trying to change people who do not want to change. You explain your feelings again and again. You tell them what hurts you. You ask them to respect your boundaries, yet nothing changes. At some point, wisdom means accepting what their actions are showing you. Stop arguing with reality. If someone repeatedly demonstrates that they cannot respect your peace, believe what their behavior is telling you and adjust your access accordingly. Protecting your peace also means learning when silence is more powerful than reaction. Some people provoke you because they want a response. They know exactly which words will upset you, and every time you react, they learn that they still have control over your emotions. But imagine the strength of reaching a point where their words no longer pull you out of character. You hear the comment, recognize the intention, and choose not to participate. That does not make you weak. It means you are becoming disciplined. Anyone can react when they are angry. Strength is being able to pause and decide whether the situation deserves your energy. Sometimes walking away is more powerful than winning the argument because you are choosing your long-term peace over a few seconds of satisfaction. Be careful, however, that your boundaries do not slowly become walls around your entire heart. One painful experience should not convince you that everyone is untrustworthy. One betrayal should not make you suspicious of every person who enters your life. One disappointment should not turn your kindness into cruelty. If someone hurt you, let that experience make you wiser, not harder. There is a difference between wisdom and bitterness. Wisdom says, I learned something from what happened. Bitterness says, because one person hurt me, everyone will hurt me. Wisdom creates boundaries. Bitterness creates isolation. Wisdom allows you to move forward carefully. Bitterness keeps you emotionally trapped in the past. Ask Allah to help you keep your heart clean while also giving you the strength to protect it. That is not always easy. Sometimes you will remember what someone did and feel the anger return. Sometimes an old wound will suddenly feel fresh again. In those moments, remind yourself that healing is not always immediate. You may have to release the same pain many times before it finally stops controlling you. Do not feel that you must carry hatred in order to prove that what happened was wrong. You can acknowledge the injustice without allowing it to become your identity. You can say, what they did hurt me and I will not allow it again, while still refusing to let hatred dominate your heart. When someone mistreats you, do not give them a second victory by allowing their actions to destroy your character. If they were rude, you do not have to become rude. If they were dishonest, you do not have to become dishonest. If they betrayed you, you do not have to betray someone else because you are afraid of being hurt again. Your character belongs to you. Do not let another person's behavior decide what kind of person you become. Sometimes protecting your peace means stepping back from conversations that always become toxic. Sometimes it means limiting how much personal information you share. Sometimes it means spending less time around people who constantly criticize or drain you. Sometimes it means no longer answering every message immediately. And sometimes it means ending a relationship that repeatedly damages your emotional and spiritual well-being. None of these decisions require hatred. You can leave with dignity. You can create distance without announcing it to everyone. You can stop arguing and simply choose differently. And you can trust that Allah sees the things you chose not to retaliate against. There is tremendous peace in no longer needing revenge. When you trust Allah, you no longer feel responsible for correcting every person who wronged you. You understand that Allah sees what people hide, hears what they say when you are absent, and knows every intention. You do not have to carry the exhausting responsibility of making everyone pay for what they did. Release that burden. Your responsibility is your own heart, your own actions, and your relationship with Allah. So protect your peace, but protect your goodness too. Do not allow painful people to turn you into a painful person. Do not let disappointment remove your compassion. Keep your boundaries strong and your heart soft. Walk away when necessary, forgive when you are able, and leave what you cannot control with Allah. One of the greatest forms of strength is being able to say, I will not allow what happened to me to live inside me forever. That is how you truly move forward. Not by pretending you were never hurt, but by deciding that the hurt will no longer control your future. 5, let Allah become the source of a happiness people cannot take away. There is a kind of happiness that disappears the moment people change, and there is another kind of happiness that remains even when people disappoint you. The first kind is built on attention, approval, praise, messages, relationships, and being accepted by others. The second kind is built on something much deeper, your connection with Allah. When your heart begins depending more on Allah than on people, you stop living emotionally at the mercy of everyone around you. Think about how exhausting it is when your mood depends on how someone treats you. If they are kind today, you feel peaceful. If they become distant tomorrow, you start overthinking. If they praise you, you feel confident. If they criticize you, suddenly you question everything about yourself. If they choose you, you feel valuable. If they leave, you feel as though something inside you has been taken away. This is what happens when we unknowingly give people a position in our hearts that they were never meant to occupy. People are human. They will change. They will sometimes misunderstand you. They may love you deeply and still disappoint you. They may promise something and fail to keep it. They may be close to you for years and then suddenly become distant. This does not always mean they are evil. It simply means human beings are limited. If you expect people to give your heart a perfect and permanent sense of security, you will eventually become disappointed, because no human being can provide what only Allah can provide. This is why your deepest peace must come from somewhere people cannot reach. When you begin finding happiness in your relationship with Allah, something changes inside you. You still appreciate people, but you stop worshipping their approval. You still love others, but you no longer make them responsible for your entire emotional world. You still feel sadness when relationships change, but sadness no longer destroys your sense of worth. Your heart begins to understand that losing someone's attention does not mean you have lost Allah's care. That realization can transform your entire life. There may have been moments when you felt invisible because nobody checked on you. You may have looked at your phone hoping for one particular person's name to appear. You may have wondered why people you were always there for were suddenly not there for you. In moments like these, loneliness can become very loud. But sometimes those quiet moments teach you something you could never learn while constantly surrounded by attention. They teach you where your heart has been looking for comfort. When the world becomes quiet, Allah is still there. When nobody understands what you are carrying, Allah knows. When you are unable to explain why your heart hurts, Allah knows the pain before you even find the words. When you make dua in private, there is no need to impress anyone, defend yourself, or explain every detail. You can come to Allah exactly as you are. This is one of the greatest sources of emotional peace a believer can develop. The more you strengthen this relationship, the less desperate you become for human validation. You stop needing everyone to notice your goodness because you know Allah sees it. You stop needing everyone to understand your intentions because Allah already knows them. You stop needing constant reassurance from people because your heart begins finding reassurance in faith. You stop asking, why do they not appreciate me? Every time someone overlooks your efforts, because you begin asking a better question, was what I did pleasing to Allah? That shift is powerful. Imagine how peaceful life becomes when you no longer need applause for every good thing you do. You help someone because it is right. You forgive because you want peace in your heart. You remain respectful because that reflects your character. You walk away from unnecessary conflict because you value your relationship with Allah more than winning an argument. People may never recognize some of your sacrifices. They may never know how many times you stayed silent to avoid hurting them. They may never see the battles you fought privately. But Allah sees what people miss. A heart that truly believes this becomes much harder for people to break. This does not mean you will never feel hurt again. Faith does not make you emotionless. You may still cry when somebody leaves. You may still feel disappointed when someone betrays your trust. You may still feel pain when someone speaks unfairly about you. But there is a difference between feeling pain and allowing pain to become the ruler of your life. You can be hurt and still have peace underneath the hurt. You can be disappointed and still know that your life has meaning. You can lose a relationship and still know that you have not lost yourself. You can hear someone's negative opinion and still remain secure in who you are trying to become before Allah. That is emotional strength rooted in faith. Many people spend years chasing something from others that they have never learned to give themselves spiritually. They chase compliments because they do not feel worthy. They chase relationships because they are terrified of being alone. They chase attention because silence makes them uncomfortable. They chase approval because rejection makes them feel invisible. But when you begin building a stronger inner life with Allah, you become less desperate. You can sit alone without feeling abandoned. You can go through a quiet season without believing your life has stopped. You can watch people walk away without running after every person who chooses distance. You can hear criticism without allowing every word to become your identity. You begin understanding that peace is not the absence of people hurting you. Peace is knowing where to return when they do. Return to prayer, return to dua, return to gratitude, return to the Quran, return to the remembrance of Allah, return to the things that remind you that your life is much bigger than one person's opinion. Sometimes we become so focused on what people are saying about us that we forget how little their words can actually change the truth. Someone can call you a failure, but their words do not write your future. Someone can say you are not good enough, but they do not determine your value before Allah. Someone can misunderstand your intentions, but their misunderstanding cannot rewrite what was truly inside your heart. Do not give human opinions divine authority. People see moments. Allah sees the whole journey. People judge what is visible. Allah knows what is hidden. People may look at your life and think nothing is happening, while Allah may be building patience, wisdom, strength and character inside you. This is why your heart must learn to value Allah's knowledge of you more than people's opinions of you. Gratitude is another powerful part of this kind of happiness. When you constantly focus on who ignored you, who criticized you, who left you, or who disappointed you, your mind begins believing your entire life is painful. But when you intentionally notice what Allah has already given you, your emotional world begins to change. There is still breath in your lungs. There may still be someone who truly loves you. There may be food on your table, a place to sleep, another morning to wake up to, another opportunity to improve, another chance to make dua, another chance to become better than you were yesterday. Gratitude does not deny pain. It simply stops pain from becoming the only thing you can see. A grateful person can say, yes, this hurt me, but Allah has still given me so much. That sentence carries strength. You also need to learn not to compare your happiness to other people's lives. Social media can make it appear that everyone else is loved, successful, surrounded by friends, and constantly enjoying life. You may look at their lives and wonder why yours feels quieter, but you do not know their private battles. You are comparing your reality to a small piece of someone else's public image. Your journey is between you and Allah. You do not need the same life as everyone else in order to have a meaningful life. You do not need the same relationships. You do not need the same timeline. You do not need everybody to understand where Allah is taking you. Sometimes peace comes from accepting that your path may look different. Another important lesson is to stop chasing people who repeatedly show you they do not want to stay. There is dignity in letting people choose their own place in your life. You should not have to beg someone to respect you, constantly remind them to value you, or convince them that your presence matters. If someone chooses distance, let that choice reveal something to you. You can care without chasing. You can love without losing your dignity. You can miss someone without returning to something that destroyed your peace. Your heart becomes stronger when it learns that another person's departure does not mean your life is over. Sometimes Allah closes a door because you kept standing in front of something that was no longer good for your heart. Sometimes what feels like rejection becomes protection. Sometimes what feels like an ending creates space for growth you could never have experienced while desperately holding on. You may not understand every loss immediately. You may not understand why someone's behavior changed. You may never receive the apology you wanted. You may never receive the explanation you feel you deserved. And yet you can still heal. Do not make your healing dependent on another person's apology. Do not make your peace dependent on them finally admitting what they did. Do not make your future wait for someone from your past to give you closure. Take what you can learn, give the unanswered parts to Allah, and continue moving forward. There is also tremendous freedom in realizing that you do not have to respond to every rumor or negative comment. If you spend your entire life correcting what people say about you, you will never have time to actually live your life. Some people will believe what they want regardless of how carefully you explain yourself. Let your character become your response. If there is something you genuinely need to correct, correct it calmly. But after that, release it. Allah knows the truth even when people choose a false version of the story. That awareness allows you to stop fighting battles that were stealing your emotional energy. Over time, you reach a beautiful stage where people's treatment still matters, but it no longer controls you. Kindness still makes you happy, but you do not collapse without it. Criticism can still hurt, but it does not destroy your confidence. Rejection can still disappoint you, but it does not convince you that you are worthless. You have built something deeper. Your happiness is no longer standing on one person's mood. It is rooted in your faith, your values, your gratitude, your purpose, and your relationship with Allah. And once happiness develops these roots, people cannot easily pull it out of you. So stop asking every person around you to carry the responsibility of keeping your heart happy. They were never designed to carry that weight. Love people, appreciate them, be loyal, be kind, build healthy relationships. But remember that every human relationship is temporary in comparison with your relationship with Allah. If people treat you well, be grateful. If they disappoint you, remain patient and wise. If they misunderstand you, do not lose yourself trying to be understood. If they leave, allow yourself to grieve, but do not believe your entire future left with them. If they criticize you, take whatever truth may help you improve and leave the rest behind. And every time your heart begins depending too heavily on someone, gently remind yourself where true security comes from. Your greatest peace should not be, everyone finally approves of me. Your greatest peace should be, even if everyone does not understand me, Allah knows me. That is a happiness people cannot easily take away. Because once your heart learns to return to Allah instead of running after every changing human being, you become free in a way you may never have experienced before. You stop allowing praise to make you arrogant and criticism to destroy you. You stop allowing attention to define you and silence to frighten you. You stop allowing people's arrival to complete you and their departure to empty you. You begin living from a place of inner stability. And that is the kind of happiness worth building. Not a happiness that depends on everyone treating you perfectly, but a happiness strong enough to survive even when they do not. At the end of the day, you cannot control how people speak to you, how they judge you, whether they stay or whether they understand your heart. But you can decide that their behavior will no longer control your peace. Let people have their opinions. Let them misunderstand what they do not know. Let them walk away if they choose to. Your happiness should not rise and fall with every person around you. Keep your heart connected to Allah. Protect your peace without hatred. And remember that your worth does not decrease because someone failed to recognize it. The more you depend on Allah, the less power people have over your emotions. And one day, you may realize that the greatest freedom was never getting everyone to treat you better. It was reaching a place where their treatment could no longer take your happiness away. May Allah give you a peaceful heart, strong faith, healthy boundaries and the happiness that no person can steal. Ameen.